members are not present. Jed is not here, and we knew that?
Yep.
Okay. We still have a quorum though, so do pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. No one's here for open forum public input. Are you here for track stuff or?
Yep, I'll just watch.
Okay, sounds good. And then we have to approve the agenda, changes to the agenda, which I have none, so we just need a motion to approve.
So,
Moved by Leishner, second by Turner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, and no new conflicts of interest that I know of. Are there any to declare?
Nobody's changing seats unless somebody's got a new job or got a new vendor or you got a relationship with somebody that does business with the school district. So if not, then I don't suspect there is any. So.
All right, so we'll move to 7, which is approved consent agenda. A is approved June minutes. B is approved claims. C, approved June financial report. D, approve amended certified staff contracts. The amendments are for Ashlyn Anderson and Shelley Fink for music extra duties. And E is to approve work agreements for paraprofessionals. This is for the following people to work as special education paraprofessionals: Jennifer Kaufman and Hallie Heisinger. So if no one has questions, just need a motion to approve.
I have 3 of them listed, not 2. Is that right?
Yeah, the other one did not accept. We just found that out today.
Okay.
Good question.
Anything else?
I have just one thing to say on the financial statement real quick. Just see that showed there that the 275, that's the max. We are not going to be transferring.
On your yellow sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The financial, it shows the 275,000 transfer for capital outlay. That's the max that we had budgeted last year. We're not going to need to. I'm guessing it's going to be between 125 and 150 is all. Just
That's a
so
good
you know.
thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I put it on there prior to getting all those. I mean, I don't have the annual report done completely. That's why I don't have it narrowed down to the exact number. But what we calculated on Friday was not going to need to be near that. So just wanted to point that out.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
If we're talking claims, I had a question on, just out of curiosity, there's a children's care hospital and school. What's that for?
Oh, we have, those are summer placements, so it's LifeScape. So
Like
these
our
are special ed
special
students that we pay for out-of-district placements for our summer schooling. Yep. We have 2 students that attend that.
And you provide year-round, right?
Actually, 3.
3, 1 year round it.
1 year round and 2 that we send to summer school, but the 3rd one has now graduated out of the program.
Yeah.
So the amount was technically for probably the 1.
Probably, it might have been, yeah, because there was some catch up there.
Yeah, the 1 and probably some payment of our summer school kids that go. So,
Remind me how that goes. Do you have to provide it year-round for every student, or is that a choice? Or is it like a care plan that
So
they
it's
have?
it's a concept based on regression is the word that is used. So any student that is on an IEP who, if you do not continue to engage them in their goals written on their IEP, that they have the propensity to lose what they got up to that point in time and actually go backwards. And that's what you're trying to do, is retain. You don't want them to regress. And then when you come back in the fall of the year, if they got nothing over that 3-month stretch of time, now you gotta go back and fill the bucket. It probably takes kids like that probably another couple of months just to get them back to where they were when you left them in May. And that's what you try to avoid happening. And that's why we do summer school here, but these 2 particular individuals, the scope of their needs, they're better served in that institution up there.
So the parents are involved in it?
Yep, good questions.
Okay, anything else? Need a motion to approve the consent consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Pearl, second by Leishner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion carried.
All right, so we will adjourn that meeting. So I need a motion to approve.
Yep.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Nebo, second by Turner. Any other discussion? Hearing to adjourn at 6:36. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion carried.
All right, so we'll move to number 9, which is to call to order new organizational meeting. So Mr. Bruning.
Yep. You want to do the budget hearing now?
Yeah, I suppose if you actually publish that at 6:30, and I don't know, but
We'll do that before we get started with.
go through your budget hearing, because that's what we posted. It was
Yep.
supposed to be at 6:30. If somebody was here, we should have to do that, so. Mr. Ehlers is here, so he's our crowd. Did you get it? Oh, okay. It's on the screen,
there.
right, Jen?
Yep.
Great.
Yep. I did not print out the slides for you, but the sheets are in here.
Is your documents in the packet?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Those are white pages.
Right after right after the minutes of the special minutes and so it's like that. You're right before the month there, the personnel. So all the information off of here is where I got the numbers for this here. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So the first slide talks about the total budgets for the 5 funds. The general fund is a total budget of $5,340,980. Capital outlay, still got some left on the 2 projects, so that's still $2,578,250. Special education is $1,015,134. Food service is $365,092, and then the enterprise fund, which again is our preschool and driver's ed, $80,440. So that's the total budgets of them. Now to compare them to last year's, or I'm sorry, compare it to the revenue first. Anticipated deficit in the general fund is only $186. That's after a $275,000 capital outlay transfer still. But remember that number's getting lower than what it used to be. It used to be probably twice that much. Getting closer to the reality anyway. Getting some of the things knocked down. On that one, capital outlay, $1,000 difference right now because we got the federal funds that we're still reimbursing for the rest of the HVAC project, which is about $180,000. And then we got the other project, which we've calculated about $700,000-800,000 left on that to pay. And then the 1.3 for the payments and all that stuff come out to about 2. That's the majority of it. It's pretty close on those. Missed a little something here and there, but special education bump. This was with the levy being at the not the minimum, but the maximum amount. Because last year we fell short a little bit, and when you look at the fund balance, it is down in the special ed, but that's still, that just about makes it a wash. So with it going down as much as it did, I felt we have to probably move it up the 20 cents there to still be close to the revenue and expenditures. Now, if you didn't want to do that, remember this is the hearing, so this will be approved it needs to be approved by September or October 1st. So in the September meeting is when we'll actually do the approving of the budget. So a 20 cents gained us $50,000 is all in revenue. So you know, okay. Food service revenue down there a little bit. Expenditures, we do probably have an extra person in there right now, but with our balance and just the anticipation of things that might happen, we're going to keep on an extra person this year for hands. May end up using them in other places. We'll have to see if we can fill other positions yet. Don't have all the other positions filled, but this is with an extra full person. That's why the deficit's a little bit higher. Enterprise fund, the reason why I had 0 is because whatever we need to make up is calculated in and a transfer from the general. I think this year was $33,000. to zero that out for the preschool that I had to transfer.
So my comments on that
Go ahead.
revenue, you're $186,000 short in revenue. Do I feel that we're gonna be short that amount? Honestly, no. A lot of it is tied to ADM. So any
Yep.
ADM that you have increase in that component is going to go into that. And the other part of that is any one of those funds and those categories underneath, general fund expenditures, it's never an exact science.
Yeah.
And there's always wiggle room in that, so people should not be alarmed when they see a $186,000 deficit, because when it comes to the end of the fiscal year 24-25, I bet you it'll be significantly less than that. I mean, you'll be pretty close to being a wash.
Trying to think what that number was last year. I know it was more than that though. More than 186, but I didn't look.
If that thing was looking like $500,000, okay, now.
Well, at one point it was probably over 300.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It seemed like I always had a 3 in front of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Time out, maybe ask a few more questions, or how are we gonna do that, but, I mean, that's really pretty good. And I don't think it's out of character for most school districts to do that, so.
Any other questions on this part?
And the food service, you have a fund balance.
Yeah. That's why we're keeping that extra one on right now.
now.
So, total budget here. Just again, it gives you a breakdown of overall, it's a $9 million, a little over $9 million budget, and then the percentage is 57% of it is your general fund, 27% is capital outlay, and so forth. Just to give you an idea. Budget trends. Notice the big jump in the capital outlay from the project. Other than that, they're all pretty status quo. The general fund just keeps growing minimal each year. Special ed kind of holds its own, maybe up a little bit. Had a spike, went down, come back up. Enterprise fund's pretty steady. But that's the last 5 years worth of total budgets for each of those funds and where they were at. Now we'll talk about the levies. Remember, the levies are set by the state for most of the stuff. The total owner occupied did go down a little bit. Non-owner occupied went down as well. The ag went up. And then total agriculture, or non-ag, sorry, total non-ag went up. And the agriculture stayed the same because I asked for the same amount again. Till we get that straightened around after the project. I just asked for the one, this has budgeted in 1.3 million like we did last year. And remember, last year we only saw half of that revenue. So this will be the first full year of the full amount. So we're gonna get the last half of what we set last September, first half of this year, and then what you're setting now is gonna be second half of this year and the first half of next year, fiscal year wise. That's how the taxes come in. So, here's the dollar requests that those amounts will generate then. General fund, 1,123,230 approximately is going to be taxes. Capital outlays, there's the 1.3 that I talked about. Special ed is 852. And as you can see, that's up about a little over 50,000 from last year because of that 0.20. Last year was at 794. So those were what they were last year compared to what they will be this year with these levies. Any questions on that? So now the 5-year tax dollar comparison then, as you can see, there was the jump in the capital outlay in the middle there, but that's from the two deals that we said was going to happen, from the 850 to the 1.3. General fund's kind of been up and down, and those ones are all, I mean, you guys don't control those. So controlled by the state and controlled by the valuations that are set out of our control. I mean, that's why there was a dip. Remember the one year there was a correction year where they changed the valuations. And there was a drastic change, and that's why you see that little dip and then it come back up. Special ed, same thing. Those are set by the state, not us. And your valuation changes in correction cause that one little dip in the middle. Any questions on that? General fund expenditures then, I'm gonna take all that 5.3 million, 5.340, break it down, the salaries is $3,281,000 of the 5,300,000. And then when you add the benefits onto that, it's another million, so when you add those two together, $4.2 million of your $5.3 million budget is salaries and benefits in the general fund. Travel, about 189,000 there. Now, that travel does not include busing, that's other travel, and that travel does include like the extracurricular activities travel. The busing for that is included in that one. Purchase services, 418,780, that's all your 300 op units. When you, in the budget book itself, like, so your Northwestern Public Service and all that stuff, all your utilities and stuff are 300s. So all that stuff is included in there. Supplies are what we purchase anything at the 400s. And then the student transportation, that's just for routes of the busing. Okay, so when you put that together in a pie chart and you talk about a $5.3 million budget, benefits and salaries, 80% of it is your salaries and benefits of that whole budget. The other stuff that we sit and quabble about, yes, you can get this, yes, you can't get this, whatever. It's like, look up the supplies, it's 3% of the whole deal. And that's where we probably try to spend or save and try to make the principals talk to teachers and say, what can you use and what can't you use, or what can you get rid of and what can't. And really it's minimal when you're looking at the whole overall scheme of things. So 5-year expenditure comparisons then. So you see your salaries have been growing a little bit, pretty consistently throughout the last 5 years. Benefits have been staying the same, maybe going up and down a little. Transportation goes up a little bit there. Purchase services pretty much the same. And supplies kind of maybe just a gradual increase, but not much. Try to keep that as close to the same each year as possible. So that's just taking that last pie chart and putting them all together in the last 5-year comparison. And then that comes down to the fund balance slide. We were, what did I tell you, Mr. Rapp, a little over 25% last year of our expenditures was what our fund balance ended up. And so the FY24 is a fictitious bar right now because it all depends on what we want to transfer. That's why I talked about that during the previous part of the financial report. This is, I think, with a 1.25 or $125,000 transfer would put us what I think is just going down just a tad. So keeping it at about that 1.3 million as a fund balance. And remember, we have to keep that over, correct me if I'm wrong, 30% or 35?
Our ADM, we have to be lower than 30 or under.
Yeah, 30% or under. And we're at
of your general fund
expenditures. Yep.
So,
And when
can't
you
be
calculate what our 30% of our general fund expenditures was 1.7 million. So we're $400,000 under that right now.
If you don't, you get penalized.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's ever been an issue here.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. So. Any questions on that? That's all I have.
Craig?
Yeah.
They checked that when, that fund balance, that 30% figure?
During the annual report. So the annual reports are due by August 15th or August 31st. I can't remember for sure which date. Or they have to be approved by then.
They have to be submitted by the end of August, I think.
Yeah. And that's when that gets all set. Based on all the, I gotta do all the transfer, because I take some of the expenditures for maintenance out of food service. I take some of the expenditures for Mr. SPED director, for Mr. McKinnon out of the SPED. I gotta do all those journal entries yet, now that the end of the fiscal year is done.
Got
And
it.
then when the financial, or the annual report gets submitted, that's where they get that number from. And then when it comes out publicly, when does that, I can picture the report that's all put together on a one sheet with our enrollment and all that stuff, and then the
Made
fund
available
balance.
to the public?
Yeah, the fund
That's-
balance is down in the bottom right hand
It's
corner
made
of it.
like available in mid-October.
Yeah. Posted on the web by the DOE. Any other questions?
Thanks for your work on that.
All right, thanks.
All right. We don't need to do anything with that, right?
Nope.
We're gonna, yeah,
Just
okay.
your hearing.
Okay, so we will move to 10, which is oath of office.
9.
Yep.
Where did that? I
You
did
have
this.
to, yeah, you have to do this.
John,
Oh,
I don't have them printed.
We skipped down to 14
oh,
by the budget hearing. So
okay.
that when you- But now we have to turn it over to Craig because now you guys gotta reorganize.
I can steal whoever else's.
I know where they're at. I got them, the old ones, but two of you have to do it again.
Right.
Good.
I can.
I just didn't print them out.
I can-
Sorry.
I thought I
Read it
did
off or
it, and I
something.
did, but he just went right into his piece.
No,
I
you gotta.
I know, but I said this, but then he did his own thing, which is fine.
We gotta
I didn't understand what you guys
There
were
we go.
talking about anyway, so,
seat your new boards,
yeah, okay,
even though they'll be changed. Then you still have to go with president or vice president.
Yeah,
sure.
this will still have your name on it, John. If you wanna come over
Probably
here,
will
John.
till the end of time,
Mhm.
right?
Power.
Then I'll just have to get you signed and printed at the end of the deal. There you go.
So you actually on number 10, Craig. What are you doing there? Because you're conducting the meeting at this stage of the game there, Jan.
Yep.
You just want me to start at 9, call to order a new organizational meeting?
No, that's what I do that. You don't.
Oh,
I
okay.
call it order. Now we're doing the oath of the new members. So the first one is John Prohl.
So it'll be 10.
Yep.
I, John Prohl, of the Parkston School District Number 33.3, having been elected as a Board of Education member of the above-named school district in the above-named county, South Dakota, do solemnly swear that I will support the laws and Constitution of the United States and the state of South Dakota, to faithfully perform the duties of the school board membership, and by filing a bond if required by law and having it approved.
Okay. Thank you. All right, and now I need, who's the other one? Did I take petition out? Scott, yep. Sorry, don't have any minutes open in front of me. So just put your name in there like that.
I, Scott Herringer of the Parkston School District, number 33.3, having been elected as a board member of education member of the above-named school district in the above-named county, South Dakota, do solemnly swear that I will support the laws and Constitution of the United States and the state of South Dakota, and do faithfully perform the duties of the school board membership, and by filing a bond if required by law and having it approved.
Let's read that. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Okay, those two are taken. Now we need to,
Can I do the next, for 11?
Yeah.
no, yeah, you're not president yet.
Oh, yeah, okay. These are out of order then.
So we'll establish a quorum here. We have 4 of the 5
He
members
just
present.
got- He's got enough here to do.
Okay, so next we'll have to do we need to
Now.
take nominations for, what do I have first? Any nominations for president of the Parkston School Board?
I'll nominate Jill if she's willing.
Sure.
Any other nominations? Nomination ceased. All in favor for you?
You probably need a second on that, Craig.
Oh,
I'll second that.
sorry. Moved by Leishner, seconded by Prohl to unanimously nominate Jill Nebo for president of the Parkston School Board. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, and now we need a motion or a nomination for vice president. Or nominations.
I'll nominate Matt, unless you don't want to do it anymore. You good?
As long as you show up.
Okay, sounds good.
And
It's
you-
usually
you
here. You did
second
a
that,
fine
Scott?
job when I wasn't.
Before you get nominated?
Exactly.
Okay, so moved by Nebo and second by Turner to unanimously nominate Matt Leishner as the Vice President of the Parks and School Board. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now, Jill, you can go ahead and take
All
over.
right, established quorum, school board, so we have all members present except for Jed. Okay, we will move to 13, which we already kind of discussed earlier, but there were no new conflicts of interest disclosures or waivers, so we can move on. We just did 14, so we can move to 15, which is to approve the consent agenda. We will consider the following items for the 24-25 school year. And why don't we just, do I have to read them all?
Not technically. they're
I will,
listed,
it's
but you
okay, so
can,
that they
so,
hear it, okay. A, designate legal depository and official newspaper. We recommend Farmer State Bank as depository and the Parks and Advance as the official newspaper. B is to establish board pay, per diem, and mileage rate. We recommend board pay remain $75 per meeting and committee meeting for the year, and per diem and mileage as state rate. Appoint manager of local funds, business manager Craig Bruning. Appoint manager of federal funds, superintendent Pat McKinnon. E is to designate legal counsel for the Parks and School District, which is Braley Law with a retainer of $2,000. Set bond for business manager, we recommend $50,000. Designate business manager authority to invest funds, business manager Craig Bruning. Authorize certain fund allowance and expenditures, we recommend continuing with the $7,500 in the Impress Fund, $500 for the Change Fund, and $50 for petty cash. Set election date, we recommend the second Tuesday in April, which is April 8th, 2025. List all employees and salaries to be in compliance with SDCL 6-1-10. This is publishing all school employee salaries in the local newspaper. Approve reimbursement rates. The rates are included on the enclosed document. Authorize use of signature stamps for president and business manager. Authorize vice president to sign in president's absence. Approve Avera PACE membership. This is a purchasing cooperative used by the district. Authorize superintendent to approve open enrollment applications. This allows the superintendent to accept and sign applications in a timely manner. Establish meeting dates and times. We recommend the second Monday of each month with a start time of 6 or 6:30 unless amended on a monthly basis by the school board. So we
Which one do you guys
just
want?
want to decide,
You
do
wanna
we
leave
like
it as is,
6:30?
or-
I think 6:30 is better for me too. I drive an hour home, so,
That's better for me.
yeah. Is that okay? So
Okay,
we'll go with
so we'll leave
6:30.
it as is, okay?
Designate truancy officer, age discrimination compliance officer, Americans with Disabilities Act compliance officer, Section 504 compliance officer, and Title 9, right?
Yep.
Compliance officer. Superintendent has a designation of truancy officer, age discrimination compliance officer, Americans with Disabilities Act compliance officer, and Title 9 compliance officer. Building principals are the 504 compliance officer. Just so what is 504 compliance? What is that?
So that is the other arm of special ed law, Public Law 94-142. So it's those people who do not qualify by assessment, that do not have a diagnosed learning disability, but one of life's main activities is still impacting their ability to learn. So you would put them on a 504. An IEP is a legal binding document. A 504 is just a document that with no legal credibility, but it's designed to support those students in their learning environment.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
yep. It's special ed related. So.
Okay. Okay, thanks for explaining that. Okay, approved Title III Consortium membership. This is a statewide membership to support English language learners. Approve audit quote. This is for auditing purposes from Schoenfish and Company for $12,500.
That's a change, what was
Yep.
in there. So we just found that out today. So
And what was it last year?
11.
Do you have
the reason for it, we have one more year federal. then hopefully
Hopefully
we'll come backwards on that.
Okay, you have a good? Okay. Designate bus route pickup points pursuant to SDCL 13-25-45. Quote unquote, receiving school district and the resident school district shall annually approve the pickup locations for those students within any incorporated municipality. We recommend using the same established locations as in years past in the Tripp Delmont School District, Tripp former Dakota Plains elevator site, and Delmont, the former Agland Co-op building. So if there are no further questions or comments about any of the things we read, we just need a motion to approve.
I have a question on the bus stuff. Do we still need the Tripp Delmont School District signature to approve that?
We have to agree. Yep.
You think that'll be an issue?
Nope.
Was for a while.
It always is. It always is. Every year that the short time that I've been here, I usually spend more than one conversation on the phone with, and part of it is it's because the number of people switching chairs down there. So every year I kind of got to start over and
Explain things.
tell them what I know. And then we get through that process and then we're usually pretty good, so.
One other question on, and got to ask it from the standpoint of bus routes. Are we still comfortable with the number of routes we have based on the time they're on the bus and so on and so forth? Because it isn't kids that are having issues with overfilling buses until they get to town.
Great.
So I just got to ask. the
Craig and I have had that conversation as to where we're at with, currently we run 5 routes. And the necessity of all 5. I think that what Craig and I agreed upon is throughout the course of this school year, we need to engage foremen in a more formal conversation about maybe, is there a way to restructure some of these potentially with the thought of maybe eliminating, going from 5 to 4. I think that's potentially possible. Craig and I have looked at the maps, and Craig provides part of the service too. He's driving a morning route, so he has a pretty good feel for some of those things in the conversations. But I think based on where we were at, probably the timing wasn't right, but we engaged foremen in the conversation throughout this year as to at least let's take a look at that and how do we restructure that if it's possible. So
before we negotiate.
Right, because maybe some kids graduate, so we don't have to stop at certain places. I don't know that.
our buses aren't packed full. I mean, I drive too.
Right.
You know, and I'm kind of relegated to the southwest, or excuse me, the southeast route because that's the only one I've ever learned. I mean, there's not 3 kids in every seat by any stretch of the imagination, morning or afternoon. You know, but the problem is the vastness of the mileage in which you're driving, and the other part is it's always best practice to never have a kid on a bus more than an hour. I mean, so that's what we would have to look at and sit down with some maps and really do some circling and see what we can account for in those particular routes.
Currently, my route leaves first, and we're on for a little over an hour.
Right.
Hour and 15. The first person is.
We try to keep it, but I mean, sometimes in some routes it's possible, some routes it's not. So, but that's kind of where we're headed with that, Joe. It's a good question.
Okay.
And you guys got it what you're comfortable with for time.
Yep, I agree. I understand.
Okay. Anything else? We just need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Yep.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Joel, second by Neville. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Alright.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Alright, we have high school principal report. Do you have anything from Adam? Or Cole, I'm sorry.
There's a couple dates that Adam wanted to remind people of. So, from an elementary's perspective, the picture day it correlates with the high school schedule pickup date is the August 12th, which I believe is a Monday, and that's kind of an all-day thing. They come and go. And then the elementary open house is set for August 19th, which is a Monday, and that's from 5 to 7. The AD aspect of thing, July 30th at 6 o'clock is the fall sports meeting. informational meeting. And then, because our fall sports, the first season starts on August 5th, Thursday, August 5th. So try to get that in on July 30th. So those are really the only two tidbits of information that he had
So
to
just so
share.
I understand, August 12th is picture day for everyone in the school, not just one side or the other?
Yeah,
Like elementary and high school does
Yes,
it the same day?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
And you said that was the day also that what,
High school schedule. So Mr. Knippling will have their 6 through 12
Oh, I
schedules
see.
that they can pick up
Okay,
for their first day. So they can come in and out at that point in time to grab those. So.
okay, thank you. Okay, and then did Cole have anything?
No.
Okay, and how about you? What do you got?
The only thing that I got, and I put this document here in front of you, I did not get it for the board packet last week. It came on Friday, actually, so I wanted to get that out, obviously, before the 4th. So, again, if you want to go to the Associated School Board School Administrators South Dakota Joint Conference in Sioux Falls, it's August 8th and August 9th. Now, I don't expect you to make that decision now. Take it home and look at some of those things. If you want to go, we have to register by Friday, this Friday, in order to get a $40 reduction on anybody's registration fee. So I suspect I will go. I don't know about the principals. I haven't really had a chance to visit with them about them, but that's your schedule, plus all the breakout sessions are there by category, and it gives you a description as to what they are. So if there's anything that interests you, if you can't make it work, certainly understand. If you could, you wanted to see some of that, even if it's bits and pieces, I encourage board members to take a look at that. So
Didn't there used to be stuff at night? Is that the Thursday night?
they're just, goes up till 5 o'clock, and then there's typically a reception that happens
I
after
thought
that.
there was a new board
There was. I
member
went
deal
to
like
it.
at,
Used to be the
to
Wednesday.
beginning,
Used to
yeah.
be the Wednesday prior.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
To the
yep.
event starting on Thursday.
Oh, they don't do that anymore.
I don't, it's not on there, and only part of that because Mr. Holbeck used to do that,
Yeah,
so I don't
that was
know
really good.
if Mr. or Dr. Pogany has any intentions of creating one of those opportunities, so it was not on the schedule,
Yeah.
so. I
Yeah,
can't
That's
speak
what I
to
would
that.
have went to, I think, if I liked that.
Yeah, there's always good information to share on that component of
Mhm.
it, so.
Okay.
But
Thank
the other thing that I had was, I just wanted to recognize Miss Ackerman. And she was awarded the CTE equipment grant for the tune of the equipment that she wanted to do to get the manufacturing program up and running. I know there was a concern one time about our shop and what kind of equipment the kids were being exposed to and the ventilation component and all that. Well, that's the grant that I've been trying to write for the last 2 years, and probably not intelligent enough to put the right stuff in there, but I got I got dejected and she got approved, but $175,000 worth of new equipment. That's going to be extraordinary. I did put a little thing in your packet as to what it was, what the pieces of equipment she was going to acquire that we're going to put in the shop. So it's going to take some, I don't know, some retrofitting and some revamping. It'd be this thing here, but you kind of see what she can put in there. All very, I think, relevant equipment, the latest and greatest, and I know MDS helped her a lot with some of the feedback on this particular grant and what she should be ordering. But ventilation is taken care of by the downdraft tables, and then she's got a Cobot CRX system. I'm guessing that's some sort of welder. And then the other big component there is she's got a plasma cutting table that's going to be there. And what was good about this particular grant, before we could ever do the upgrades to the infrastructure out of those other dollars, and that's kind of why I got rejected the last 2 times, because I wanted to do that. Well, for whatever reason, they had this pot of money they had to spend, so they allowed it. So you got probably pretty close to $14,000 worth of infrastructure that we got quotes for to revamp that and make sure the panels are up to date and all the outlets are ready to go. Plus, we'll have to install some for that plasma cutting table and that Cobot. So really, just really a really cool deal. And our kids will now have exposure to the latest and the greatest. So
That's cool.
yeah, so that's really a benefit. That's the only 2 things that I had. This
Okay.
time. So,
All right, we will move to discussion items. Discussion item A is to review the policy manual. The following ASBSD policies are being presented for review and a first reading: E, BBB, EBC, EBCA, EBCB, EBCC, which were all included in the board packet. Were there any questions about any of those things?
I have one question when I get to it. And I think it was, we do 4 fire drills a year.
Yeah. We do, okay, I think of which ones you're doing here. in my
This would be
matrix
on
in my-
EBCD.
EBCB, yeah. Fire drill only replace each semester. Yes, that's true.
And you do them in those months?
I may miss the mark on the exact month from time to time, but typically we try to do them. Didn't have any problem meeting it this last spring because the fire alarm was going off like every other day, so we got plenty of response time on practice on that, so because of the project, but no, I say September, October, you know, it's probably the end of each, and then April and May, and part of that has to do with weather components of that, so, but yes, we do that twice a month, and I got record of it in my office when we do them, so.
Do you have others that you do, like an active shooter? And
Yeah, we still have those, you know, the other drills that we practice, you know, did we get that done last year? No, it's plain and simple. If there was an event that we had an active shooter situation, would our kids know where to go? Pretty confident our 6 through 12 would have no problem getting to their destination point. Our elementary kids, probably not so much. Maybe a few of the older upper elementary groups might know where that designation rallying point is, you know. But, you know, no excuse for not having to conduct those. It just simply my error, and it did not happen, so. But we do typically
have those?
conduct those, so.
Doesn't really say that in here anyway, does it? But, oh, lockdown drills will take
Yeah,
place.
it's emergency
periodically.
drills, yeah. And typically, that's a little bit of a misnomer. There is an opportunity for lockdown, not so much due to an active shooter situation, but more so, the analogy that I can give you is where I came from. We had a farmer associated ammonia.
Like a leak?
And Hagerstown.
There you go. Sat like quarter of a mile from the school, and it was like 5,000 gallon tank that this farmer had. So if that thing ever sprung a leak, you know, that was one of those concepts we always discussed: lock down and shut down all HVAC systems kind of components, because that stuff's gonna float type of deal. I mean, so you're looking at more of maybe a police alert type of deal, so nobody gets into the establishment. But our doors are locked all day, every day anyway, for the most part. So there's just different components there, and that we have in our drill, I think, cadre that we do go and practice. So.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, we'll go over those again next month. We'll move to B, review policy manual. The following ASBSD policies are being presented for review in a second reading: EA, EB, EBA, EBB, EBBA, which were in last month's board packet.
Yep.
Any questions or comments in any of those? Okay, we'll move to C, which is review policy manual. The following ASBSD policies are being presented for review and adoption: DM and DN.
Yep.
There were no further questions or comments. We just need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Pearl and seconded by Leishner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion carried.
All right. Discussion item D is building project updates. We'll hear about Update on the building and HVAC projects to discuss progress, timelines, and completion dates.
Construction meeting this Thursday coming up, and I believe the intent is to create for Area B and Area C a punch list. Excuse me, so the only component that is really got, I wouldn't say even an extensive formal part of work left is the areas C to the two changing rooms and the training room. And they made even a lot of progress on those today. I mean, it'll essentially be done. Maybe the lockers won't be in, but that'll be about it. Because all of the mechanical, the electrical, and the plumbing is done. The casework, the mill work, the tile, all of that stuff's in place. That the flooring is laid in the multi-use flooring and all of the equipments and the fitness space. All the flooring's down in the hallways. They laid the carpet there. The new carpet that went over, that was supposed to be replaced in the high school wing, was replaced today. So essentially the new project, what is new construction, it's pretty much completed. So the carpets are in the offices, I think were laid today as well. So, I mean, it's right there. Thursday's meeting is to create those punch lists and the little things, so. The HVAC project, I talked to Climate Systems today. They have already went down all the hallways. They're back over here into this space over here. So all the units have been installed. They've been charged. The outdoor units are working. Climate System has been through them all and has them all online operational. So there's a few things that they're doing in the ceiling units. They're still putting some ceiling grid and stuff like that in the ones that are in the ceiling. So they stuck to their guns on that and did well.
How about that, whatever tank, the valve we had replaced, that needed to be drained, everything?
So that project is on the list to do. I talked to Mitchell Plumbing and Heating about doing that and ordering the supplies and the equipment that they needed. So I just talked to their person on staff here beginning of last week and clarified, are we still doing that? I said, yes, we're still doing that. So they're ordering all what they need to in that boiler room over there to make sure that those valves are replaced and then put that new boiler pump in. So the pump in the boiler, not the new boiler, but the pump that goes in the boiler.
It's not really that big of a deal, just have to drain everything out of it, it's probably the hardest.
Yeah, and that's where they're at right now. So that will get done here, before we get rolling again too. So, I thought I had clarified that with Ryan Sheasley from Mitchell Plumbing and Heating. I found the email even, but that's fine. I mean, for whatever reason, it didn't get ordered, but now they're in the process of making sure they're getting the valves that they need and to be able to switch that stuff out. So, good question. So that's where we're at on the two projects. I suspect what August is going to entail, part of what will bring this back is, to set some timelines and have some discussions about potentially what an open house looks like. Set some date or a date on that to allow the public to come in. I do know, talking to the superintendent, Tony Winandy, that I believe next week he actually has their cleaning crew scheduled to come in and clean that whole new footprint. And I asked him, who does that? And they use Intech out of Sioux Falls. So they'll come in top to bottom, is what he claims. So we'll see. I'm a little nervous about that, but I don't know if they're got 20-foot extension poles with a Swiffer on the end of it or what they're doing, but I mean, he claims they'll do that, so yeah, it's really close. And I know people are getting excited about it. We haven't taken over possession of that fitness space yet, and I don't know that we're gonna have to be able to give the chance to use that in July yet. I mean, that's the goal. We'll see what Thursday brings and if they'll allow us to get in there, because their scope of work essentially is completed. The only thing that's really left on the floor in the multi-use is the lines that designates basketball, volleyball, pickleball, things like that. So So that's my update on that deal.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, congrats on everybody involved in that. So,
And when it's all said and done, and I think Craig's probably, he's been watching the numbers, but when it shakes out, it was 6.3, I think we're even gonna be less than that when it's all said and done, so, which is a good thing. I mean, we had plenty of change orders, but I know there were some places there that we took a second look and, do things a little bit differently, tighten it, saved us a little money, and then, obviously spend some money. Oh, and the last thing I should say on that project is the outside. The outside is what's honestly is gonna probably,
Just the
Hold
tin,
this up.
the metal on it and stuff.
well, the metal on the outside and all the cap around the roof, but then it's the parking lot in and of itself. Steve Barcher's got a lot of work to do to come back there, so I think Vanderpool is to come in to get it to grade. The courtyard back behind the two facilities, or between the two buildings. But they're supposed to get a pretty good jump on that this week, from what I understand, so. And then, the roofing company that had the contract, I think I put in my notes too that we may have to take a second look at that contract that we have for a maintenance agreement, because when they can't rattle cages and get results, I don't think they care about me rattling a cage and getting any results. I mean, I watched one guy for 8 hours, actually 4 hours, and it took him 4 hours to put up 2 pieces of 18-inch trim. What's that guy doing? But anyway, it'll happen, but just know that. And then the signage from Pride Neon, they're waiting on those guys yet, as far as the actual, and but go back to the engineer, we've talked about it before on their side of it, but I think they're pressing those guys too, and how it should be lit up, that it needs probably a chase work. Put every chase on the outside to put all these different attachments in it to make it light up. So on the inside, probably gonna create some, mess, because they gotta punch a hole in that precast about 20 foot up. So, and the reason why they didn't get it done is because Pride Neon and their engineer and about designing the whole footprint, if you remember what it looked like. So the outside is gonna be maybe a little bit of the hang up, but the inside for the most part, pretty much done. So, and it looks really nice.
A lot of comments on how nice it looks.
Yeah. I'm sure there's been, doors are wide open, and people come in, and I'm sure they've been in there. Even when the sign says "Stay out, please don't walk across," there's footprints going right across, so I don't know.
I get phone call, I got
People
told
can't
that
read, I guess.
Sunday afternoons, there's people saw them from the pool in the windows, people in there looking.
Sure.
You need to stay out for a little bit until they get those lines painted.
Yeah.
Question, can that hole be punched and plugged now before it's cleaned? And then before school starts?
Well, apparently, one would think that's common sense, but what they don't have is the exact measurement and which
where?
part of the sign
Sure.
where they're gonna create that chase to feed, because it's home of Big Head over here.
Sure.
I forget what it was, Parkston Trojans, right? I think so.
I can't remember what, if it was Parks and Trojans or just something of the Trojans.
So to try to put all of those
Figure out.
components in one chase to make sure that it gets to everywhere it needs to be, so they only have to punch one hole. They were really talking like punching 15 holes in that, and I'm like,
Sure.
there gotta be a different way to do it that. I'm not in favor of that.
Sure.
We're not punching 15 holes up there. So, sorry, that's all I know at this stage of the game. So.
All right. We will move to E, handbook changes. We'll look at the elementary, middle school, high school handbook changes that were introduced at the June meeting. There were
Essentially just following your rules there that your handbook changes were read last week. This is your last month. These are your second readings. There's nothing new, nothing was changed from last month, so it's just on there from that standpoint. So.
He was gonna change some wording or something, wasn't he? Cole was gonna change something in here.
Is it both elementary and? right? It's both handles.
It's both, they both have the documents. in
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
I thought he said he was gonna change something.
I don't recall that, Joe. I'm not saying that he didn't, but I don't recall what it was. 'Cause I'm just looking at the
Maybe
categories.
he did and you just can't tell, I don't know.
Because the categories that are in here, I don't know what he would have, what would have needed changes. What he did change was that last one, the
It was-
nicotine concept.
Oh, well,
was
maybe
the-
that's what it was.
And/or,
Yeah,
I think was what,
that's what he,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
And part of it had to do with the vaping component as to what that's classified as.
Sure.
okay. Any questions about that? Just a second reading. Okay, we'll move to discussion item F. Joint facility membership with Avera. The board will discuss the proposed joint membership program for facility usage and the annual fee for access.
So that's this document. So, I sat down with Lindsay Weber and Ember Dale, and this is a creation that they kind of took the reins on after our conversation and created a document such as this. The one category that is in question that I believe that we need some clarification on is the third column over where it says Parkton School District patron yearly rate only. So if all somebody wants to have access to is the facility here, those price points, it's right now it's 150, but those price points are just suggestions that I came up with based on conversations that I had with Lindsay and Ember that were comparative to what they were going to charge, but yet even a little bit cheaper than what the hospital was charging. She made it very clear, she said, that's not my, concern as to what you do on your own accord. The bigger conversation was in the fifth column over where you read Avera PSD, Parks and School District, joint community membership yearly rate access to both facilities, boom, one component, family, that's the price point. And you get full access from a family's perspective for that amount. And that's for any patron or anybody that wants to have access to our both facilities. And that price amount of $660 for a year is still comparable and probably even more competitive than you would have to pay to, I guess, 20 miles to the north to any establishment, within the Mitchell footprint. So, and then if you look to the right, the far right column where it says an employee of Avera St. Benedict or the Parks and School District, their yearly rate, you can see the family. So if any employer of each component or organization, those people get a discount. It's $300 a year. So what is undecided, because I just threw those numbers in the third column, for just our facility alone, they can't do anything over at the hospital. This is just us. Those are the price points that are different based on suggestions that I just came up with. I don't have any allegiance to that. It was a talking point to start the conversation in that third column. So the adult, $275, the couple, $300, the family, $330, the discounted adult, senior, or military, $250, and the discounted couple for a senior was $200. So.
But now it's 150 for a family, correct?
Exactly. We didn't have any of these other components to it,
Yep.
so.
Looking at it from a Parks and School District patron perspective, what are we gaining by adding the hospital? I mean, the pool, obviously.
Different machines out there compared to what we have here.
Okay.
They have more of a universal setup,
Instead of
universal
free
weight machines, probably more cardio than what we have to offer here.
Yep.
And then obviously the big one is the pool. I believe there's sauna?
Yep. Oh, there's a
Sauna?
hot tub. I don't know. Is there a
Hot
sauna?
tub. No sauna?
I don't think
Maybe
there's
it's just a
sauna.
hot tub. That's in the pool area.
Yeah.
Right, yep.
Yep.
Unless they've changed, it's been a lot of years since I've been in there.
Yeah. But what I anticipate in conversations that I had with Ember and Lindsay, revolved around the demographic and maybe who we're targeting with access to both. We all agreed that the better way to do that would be to try to get everybody to come on board with the community membership. So then you have access to both.
End times would be another thing, Matt. Our times that ours is gonna be available is different than their times that theirs are gonna be available out there. Cause right now, like on a Saturday, I think it closes at noon or 1
Yeah.
or something like that, and it's not open on Sunday, I don't think.
No.
Where that's gonna be when ours is gonna be probably more available, cause there's less action going on. I mean, it's not gonna be available during the school day very much, if that makes sense.
And I'm just going back to, when we had that initial conversation, when we started this 150,
Right.
we kind of went back and forth about how to set that price, and, I think, if I remember correctly, we were, trying to put a dollar amount on it so that, so it helps pay for some of the costs, but more for more responsibility type of thing. Just in my mind, if we're gonna double it to $300, which isn't a lot, I understand, that's well under market.
Yeah, $27 a month.
Right, but I mean, is that going to limit students from being able to get in here? I mean, that was, I was kind of probably the only one against doing that to start with, but, we've done that now, and if we double that price, is that going to limit access for students?
Well, okay, so here's a concept, and it probably isn't addressed on here, but part of that conversation from, I don't know, whenever we had that conversation, I can't remember yesterday, let alone it was a year or 2 years ago already.
Probably 2.
Yeah, right. The utilization of those facilities for our students. And at what point in time does a student get access to them, school day versus non-school day, or school hours versus non-school hours type of deal, if they're not involved in activities? So clarification on that, I don't know that we ever really honed in on as to what that means to a student, and should there be that cost component for a student, let's say they are an athlete, or they're involved in activities, let's just say that, they're involved in activities, whether it's 1 or 3 or whatever, how many they're involved in. What is the availability to the facility on the days like a Saturday or a Sunday, or after hours, at night, on a Wednesday night from, 9 to 10. Now, in our acceptable use agreement, we had an end time on that as to when the door is officially locked, so to speak, but those are things that I don't know that we ever really had a discussion that had finality to it and say, okay, student athletes, yes, that's what we built it for, so to speak. I mean, there's other reasons too, but we certainly want those kids using that. But at what point in time, what's the structure of that? What's acceptable, what's acceptable or not acceptable when it comes to time? And should that be a cost component, that stands alone for, like your suggestion? Maybe there's some kids that wouldn't have that opportunity, from a family perspective.
I was just thinking, like, why would you not have a student on here then?
Right.
Right?
You could.
Like, I mean, I feel like then if they're, because to me, like this 660 divided by 12 is $55 a month.
Mhm.
So if you had 2 kids and you paid $25 a month, you're still paying $50, still less than a family. But it makes more sense then to do this one. But if you only had a student
Mhm.
and they just wanted to pay a small fee monthly.
Could you go, instead of adult, just a single?
Well, I know that's what I was thinking is like, because out there right now they have a single, because Maya does it, and I think it's 20 a student. It's
Wow.
a student. I don't know if adult and student are the same out there, but she's the only one that has the membership.
This is gonna change for them. What you see here is a reflection of what they are taking to their board.
So they won't have a student rate.
Whatever, because they helped create this, so this is what they said that they're taking to their board. Now, each one of us agreed that whatever they do on their own for their own access, nobody, if that's all they want, people want access to that, that's their business. People just want access to us, that's our business. But if we were gonna open it up to both, then that's where we came to that joint 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th category over. So. And the reason why you don't see adult couple, things like that, is because the whole point was, and that has to do with monetary, that has to do with the tracking. They have a system that they invested in out there that they can sign people up and essentially pay without any, I mean, it's like this Venmo, PayPal stuff, things like that. You can pay online, and it has all the trackability built into their system. Eventually, if as many people as we can get to do the joint community membership, get that dollar amount at the end of the fiscal year, then they'll keep track of all that in their system, and then they'll cut us a check for half. So.
And then are they keeping track of just Parkston School District memberships then too, or is that something that we have to track separately, or?
Yeah, so if they do the joint,
No, if they do just the Parkston.
if it's just our own, they have the ability to track that as well. We just have to communicate with them what that is, and then they'll have a running financial record of it. So I was trying to help Craig a little bit, enough on his plate to sit here and try to discern and decipher who it is and who isn't. Like right now, I went back and looked at all of the sheets that I've handed, and then I've gotten back that Tony and I go back and forth so we know who it is and we know what their fob number is. I think there was 23 of those forms, and but it was all family. Now the number of total people that fell under the auspices or names were on those forms, I didn't count how many people that included. In the short time that we've been doing that, only 23 people, 23 families, 23, whatever you want to call it, have signed our acceptable use agreement and have paid $150 for access to that fob. But they do have the ability to track that in their system.
And then, so their system would be tied to our fobs then, or how does that?
That would not.
Would not.
Two different fobs, yeah.
They would have to issue their own. Yep. And they were fully in agreement with that. So the hospital one, it couldn't get one to get you both places. That just would not work with the security that we have. So.
So Craig, do you have a number on what revenue or number of people that signed up under our program before?
It was just 23, you said.
Just 23 families?
I couldn't tell you how many people out of the 23.
23 sheets,
23
so that means
acceptable use.
$2,350 payments.
Yeah.
Oops. Which is $3,400.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know if this isn't supposed to be a big money maker, my opinion. I think we're supposed to try and get participation out here. So, I don't know by jumping it up in prices.
Which price points are we concerned about? Because in order for
What's
them to
the
make it work,
participation by the kids or the participation by the community?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, the community's paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Are we having, so are the students, the fob still costs $150, right?
that's what we're currently charging. Just to access to our facility.
So what is a Parkston School District patron? What is that? I mean, is that somebody that has somebody come to school here, or is that anybody in the school district?
I believe if you live in the Parkston School District, you're a patron, if they wanted to use that.
Mm-hmm.
But it begs the question, what if somebody from Ethan
Which there was
wants to
kids in here from there.
You're right.
come
I mean,
utilize,
With other kids.
With other kids,
come
exactly.
utilize your space?
Because I had to ask who the kid was. That was right away at the beginning, 2 years ago, but didn't know who the kid was.
Which
Came with
was
somebody
okay,
else.
as long as the person that had the fob was with them, correct?
That's
To
what we
bring
said, yeah.
who they wanted,
Yep.
as long as the person
That was
with the
in,
fob was along.
the
Then they are responsible, correct?
that was in the acceptable use agreement, correct?
Yep.
But if it's category 3 you're concerned about, I think that's why we're having the conversation, or you're having the conversation. If you don't like those price points, you can. The joint thing, because they invested in the management system, they invested in the tracking component, the software, they're into it probably way deeper than we're into, just for that component of it. I get the facility component, type of deal, but that was a price point that they suggested. I honestly, I had no idea as to what it should be. And they based that on surveying current rates around within 20-mile radius as to what other places were charging for that component. So, and they base it more on that month. What is that, $55 a month membership? It
Yeah,
gets you to-
55
gets you to
times, so
60.
that's how they got the 660.
Yeah.
Yep. And the only reason you put the 330 there is it was just half.
Yeah, that's all I did. But I was spitballing on ours.
Sure.
I was just throwing numbers there to start from.
No, and I agree.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers, even for the joint, and I mean, if you go to Sioux Falls or any Mitchell, I mean, it's a whole lot higher.
Yeah, and it's brand new, it's not like it's,
Yeah, I get all
No,
that.
it's just-
I'm just saying that here, I want kids out here. That's what we built it for. And so,
Absolutely.
Do we have like a service contract or anything with like push pedal pull for all the equipment? I mean, where this money we could say this money's going towards that service, just maintaining not so much that the school district is trying to make money off of the deal, but just maintaining the equipment.
So all the new stuff that has electronics in it obviously comes with warranty. But
Mhm.
once the warranty's gone, now, are they a servicing dealer?
Yes, they do. They service our current ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we purchased our treadmill and
Yeah.
elliptical from them 10, 15 years ago, and we got the ones that were in our,
Sure.
and they've replaced the deck, they've replaced the deck multiple times, everything, yeah.
But when it goes off of warranty, 5 years down the road, what is, I suspect you call them, you're gonna get a service charge for mileage, you're gonna come out here and they're gonna fix it, and here's how much the part is, and here's how much our labor is.
Exactly.
How do they provide maintenance agreements? I don't know that the question's ever been asked.
Right.
We don't have enough pieces for that.
So then basically this just goes towards.
There's really only about 4 pieces in there. There probably are gonna be 4 to 6 that are maintenanceable.
Okay.
2 treadmills, 2 ellipticals and 2 bikes, right, Mr. Shepperson? Does that sound about right? That's the only electrical ones. Everything else is just
There's a
free
rowing
weight.
machine in there.
But I don't know if that's electrical.
Yeah, but it's got moving parts to it.
does this money sit in a separate, somewhere, like is it separate so you know what it is?
We track it. It's just in the general fund right now. But you could earmark it to put it wherever.
Because to me, I mean, like, if you're gonna pay membership for something, at least you know that, like, when, if I'm paying $660 a year, at least I know that in 3 years, when the treadmill doesn't work, you'll buy a new one, or the bike doesn't work, you buy a new one, or, if the weights need updated, you get new ones, or to cleaning the, I mean,
We might
it's,
have to have another person to clean it.
yeah. Cleaning is gonna probably be a big thing, because people don't always follow the rules and things that you want them to do, so. I mean, I'm not like opposed to this. I would love to see a student rate, but like, that's up to you, like, that's whatever. I think the hard part about having a student rate is they could pay the student rate and all 6 family members could come on the one student rate when someone else is paying the $660 for a family. So
That's the
that's,
hard part.
that is the hard part. So you almost can't do that because you can't really police it, but it feels kind of yucky because then some kids won't be able to come unless they're with someone who has one.
I'd be fine with the 660 for the joint membership there. But when it comes to our just individual Parkston School District, I think, maybe raising it to 200 would be plenty high for me. I mean, I guess to start with, if we're gonna raise it, I guess that'd probably be as high as I want to go at this point.
So which,
For the family, I guess.
okay,
I mean, because we just have the one right now. I don't know how you want to split that up.
great. So yeah, you got those different components there, and again, those are things that they have accessible to them on there, but it doesn't mean that you can't have just one component of ours, like we do
Could you-
right now. We don't have the separate adult, we don't have
Right.
the separate
Right.
student.
And do we have many or any of, like, individuals, or those were all families?
One I can think of.
Yeah, so
Just
I
one.
would,
I know which one. Here's the thing, if you go, could you do this? Our students, leave it as is or 200. But if it's a member that does not have kids in the district, here's what, if you go to 200, they're gonna all purchase memberships out here and nobody's gonna purchase membership over at the Avera. Possibly. If it's a drastic difference.
Yeah.
So, you know, we talked about the kids and wanting the kids to use it. If you're a kid, if your family has kids, it's this. If they're not, it's no different than going over to Avera. You could do something along those lines if you want to get technical.
I mean,
It's just a thought. You
like,
can leave it at
$20 a month is only, it's still, $20 a month is cheap. That's like dirt cheap. So that would be $240. Or even 25 is 300, but I don't know.
yeah, I'm not arguing that point at all. It's
Yeah,
well under market.
Yeah.
Either way you go, but
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really think about that.
But out of those
It would hurt
23,
the-
there's probably 4 or 5 of them that don't know if they have kids.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah,
at who they are.
I'm just trying to think of them off the top of my head that I see out here. So maybe that's something, John, that would help. Kids are here. That's what we want, too.
I mean, I don't know what price points you want on the district in of itself. If it's your rate only. I don't know if it's the categorical component is right, if it's one price, access, easeability. Again, I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight. It's on there only for you guys to do what you're doing right now and come to some consensus as to how you want to do that.
when would we implement this? I think maybe it was August time frame talked about.
Well,
for
so at the-
This
yeah.
August.
Yep, so towards the fourth bullet point down, it says
Yeah.
memberships will be marketed with the intent to sell most memberships between August 1st, and August 31st. So that's what we kind of agreed on, so the trackability in their system, that we can get most of them up established. I mean, you still have a potential August board meeting to come bring some clarification and make a final vote on that. I think there's time to do that as of yet. My concern would be if this joint community membership rate of $660, you know, if we have two entities that are disagreeable to the amount, now we're gonna have problems with doing it this way. That was a suggested price point they made. You certainly have the ability to counter that, or let's compromise on this. We think it's too much. I can take it back to Lindsay. I'm not exactly sure when her board is meeting, but she was taking this exact document to her board. So. What she didn't have on hers was the Parks and School District rates only, because those were left blank. I put those in there from a discussion point.
And is this a one-time fee, or can they pay monthly?
Which one, for the Parks School District?
She said they have the ability to do either or. Easeability would be to try to steer people towards
Sure.
a one fell swoop. So, and the only reason why I say that, because they are offering those other components in those first two columns, so they have the ability to track that, so. So yes, they can. And yes, you could.
I'm not like opposed to that. I don't really, that does not bother me, the 660. I feel like that's pretty
And
reasonable.
I think you've all said
For
that.
both
I think
facilities.
that one's pretty safe, but it's your third column. I think that's
Mhm.
where we're having maybe a little bit of a struggle. As to give some price points there.
Do
Can we-
you think that'd be acceptable, a 150 point for families with students, and then a 200 or 250 for
Sure.
Everybody else is
Any
not.
patron
is
that doesn't have kids.
Is that, I don't know.
That's a great point. I mean, that's a different way of doing it.
Well, it's just what Craig said, basically. I mean, isn't that what you kind of were getting at?
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, just leaving it as is for the students that we're doing now, and these ones that, because what I feel if you do it too cheap, they're not gonna go out to Avera.
No. Well, and I think you'd get more.
Because they're not gonna pay $600,
Well, I
they're gonna
think-
pay $150, and then they'll all be wanting out here, but the problem is then they're all gonna complain about the time, because the times is not available for them, type of deal too, possibly, is what I foresee happening.
But I would assume the majority of the people that would do the joint membership would be probably people that are already using the Avera Wellness Center
Mhm.
already, but
Yep.
just want to be able to come out here,
When it's not.
walk on the track
Yep.
or whatever when it's not nice out. So I guess that would be
Yep.
my.
That's what I envision happening.
Yeah.
So, the second column there, Vera St. Benedict yearly rate only. They're having $600 there, right?
For a family.
For a family. So the joint is only $60 more?
Yep, that's what she said.
So that's where I'm getting at. So let's say we put ours at 150. So if ours is 150 for the year for a family, and or do we go to Vera St. Benedict's for 600 for the family? Which one are you gonna pick?
Depends what you wanna do.
Yeah.
That is true.
I mean, you throw the pool in there,
Yeah.
and that's, what, that's $20 a month. I mean, that's, I don't know what the rate is out there, but that's probably 2 trips a month.
Well, and a
with
lot
your
of
kids.
people don't, I mean, I'd say the older people probably are, the less they're gonna lift weights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do more cardio
Yeah.
than they're gonna be doing
Yeah.
weightlifting, so I suppose it depends what you're looking for.
Yeah. I just know it's only $60 difference to add the second one for somebody
So
outside.
if they only get this, they get the full 600, but if they do then we get 330 of this.
Mhm. Yeah, we agreed 50-50.
And that's why they have our price mark at 330.
That's what
And part of that is it's gonna be a moving target for a year, just to find out what's gonna be the established, approach to that. Meaning, where you're gonna find your patrons, how they're gonna end up going, where are they gonna end up going? And then if there has to be some adjustments after that, then we can have that conversation, a year from now. So, and that was kind of the conversation that Lindsay and I had.
I would be fine with it being more than 150, as long as I know that money is set aside and is used to replace, clean, take care of the facility, whatever. I mean, we can do whatever we want, but to me, that
Well,
makes a lot more sense.
and down the line, it might be so busy, you might have to hire somebody to sit in there after hours and clean.
Mhm.
Maybe that's your cleaning person, and that's where the money goes to.
I agree. I think that's what the money should be here noted for,
Mhm.
is maintenance and general upkeep and improvements if we need
Mhm.
improvements.
And repairs.
Maybe we should increase the price just because it's brand new. To be able to replace things, I mean, it's brand new, there's a little bit more skin in the game. If somebody runs something, it's new. I don't know, that's just my opinion, but I would hope people would be respectful, they have been so far, but
So we have a potential suggestion with a rate for patrons of the district with kids and patrons with in the district without kids. So the patron with kids, that price point being, you're suggesting maybe a little bit more than 150 for whatever your agreed upon purposes, which I fully agree with, and then a price point for patrons of the district without kids. So, and then those other components and those categorical components, I mean, I don't know that those could be eliminated. It's either, here's our district price point for the access to the Parks and School District with kids, it's this much. For anybody without kids, it's this much.
I feel like you could just get rid of all of this, and
Yep,
just do
exactly.
with or without,
Yep,
and
exactly.
that's it.
Yep.
And then we probably, the without should probably stay at that 330.
Yeah, I would be fine with that, and I think we should raise the 150 a little bit.
You want to have a single rate
Nope.
for without?
Nope. With kids or without?
I feel like
Okay.
because then
Yep.
you're getting half of this anyway, so that
Yeah,
makes total
because if they
sense to
did do
me.
both.
Yeah,
You gotta tell me what those are.
I don't
It
know,
says
what do you
without
guys think
kids, you
with
say
kids? I
33.
don't know, can we go higher than 150, Matt?
I mean, a little bit, like I
John?
said, you know, I'd be fine with 200.
You want kids to use it. I mean,
Yeah.
that,
I mean,
what is the price?
Is 200 reasonable? It's brand new.
yeah, no, I think all the prices are reasonable.
It's just we want to make sure everybody has the
Right.
opportunity.
Yeah, I feel like just, it's brand new, like, why not raise it $50? We know we're gonna have to replace equipment at some point, we can set the money aside, we're saying that out loud, that's what it'll be used for, and, I mean, $200, that's still less than $25. It's still less than $20 a month,
Yeah, so 200, 330, and 660 is
yeah,
fine with me.
yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
You good, John?
I can live with that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I mean, keep us in the loop
Yeah.
on what people
Yeah.
are thinking.
And see how it goes the first year,
Yeah.
see the numbers.
I'm not sure exactly what her board is gonna come back with.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have some of the same heartache and that we're considering here, so.
How expensive are those fobs?
Excuse me?
How expensive are the fobs themselves? And the reason I ask is because Maya puts the
We
key
don't know
on, the
what the
fob
new
on her
ones-
keychain, and then Zach wants to use it. And so I was wondering if there's a cost to getting like an additional fob.
Yeah, that's in our agreement.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
If you lose it, Ethan, that's another $50.
Right, but I'm saying for getting a second,
Like if he just wants one so that two people can,
because like I said Maya
On
puts
their
the key
name,
fob on her
access it.
keychain, and now Zach wants to come out
I,
here.
we'd have to ask Garrett on, from Convergent as to,
Yeah, because these are new fobs.
yeah, because in the upgrade, we're getting, what, 200 of them?
Yeah.
But I don't know price point per individual.
Okay, I just didn't know
Yeah,
if that
right.
was an option to get a
yeah, I
second one.
agree with you. I would love to have that too, because
Mhm.
one time, yeah, they'll have it one place, the other one's the other way, and they want
They're
to get in.
constantly fighting over it, so,
No.
We can ask
sure.
him.
I'm sure you're not the only one that's experienced that issue. Okay, are we good? Do we need to make a motion to approve this? Since we're deciding on it, or no?
Yeah, I mean, to put it in terms, you know,
Exactly what we want?
exactly what you're doing here. That's what you were proposed to, those rates of patron Parks and School District with kids, 200, Parks and patron without kids, 330, and a joint membership to both facilities, 660. I mean, that's
Okay.
what essentially it would be.
All right, so we just need a motion to approve. Craig, do you have the wording there? Are you good? Nope? Okay, well, wait.
Well,
You
What was it
good?
again?
So 200 for patrons with kids.
To approve.
Parks and School District patrons yearly rate with kids, $200. Parks and School District patrons without kids, yearly rate,
330.
$330.
Okay.
Avera Parks and School District Joint Community Membership, yearly rate to both facilities, $660.
Got it. Okay. Need a motion and a second.
Second.
Moved by Nebo, second by Leishman. Any other discussion? None, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, so we will move to the last discussion item, which is G. It says dissolution of Ethan Parks and Track and Cross Country Cooperatives.
We have some appointments to do first. Don't we?
But this was on discussion items, not action items,
Oh, that's an action item.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize there was no
It's
motion for it.
it's okay.
I thought it was
Um,
still discussion, sorry.
Did you, with that, you meant to have this on here, right? Because it's not on here, but it's on here. Okay. Okay, so you want to kick us off on the discussion here? You had some
Yeah.
comments about that?
You know, essentially their conversation I had with Coach Shepherdson, and allow him to maybe chime in here whenever he feels necessary, but, you know, we put it out there to start the conversation about a dissolution as to whether that's the right step or not. My own reservations of sitting in the chair, and I shared that with Coach Shepherdson, and Mr. Hawkins from Ethan, is about the timing of all of this happening, and part of it had to do with cross-country, because the necessity, if we were gonna do one, there's a feeling that we should do both. Well, South Dakota Activity Association needed to know that answer, because in cross-country, there's still regional alignment, where in track, there is no regional alignment. So it's easier to do. So visiting with Coach
It's
Shepherd.
easier to do in track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it wouldn't, the
Affect
activity
the-
association would like, whatever, don't
Okay,
care.
okay.
You know, we'll just put you in Class B. If you got kids that are in the top 24, they get to go to state track meet. I don't care. Cross-country is different in that respect. So my conversation with Coach Shepherdson is to try to buy some time. When we get people re-engaged in the school process, that we have time, let cross-country be what it is for this year. Ethan Parkson cross-country. Then moving forward, we have time to set the stage for further conversations, deeper conversations, survey our parents and our kids as to what potentially the track may bring, in the springtime of the year. Now, I did share with Coach Shepherdson the concept and the idea of possibly, if we're worried about participation, and there was more than just that component of some of the concerns, but let's run an experiment here. Let's keep it Ethan Parkston for this year yet, and let's play with our numbers at the middle school level. If there's ways to quantify that and give kids more opportunities so they get more experiences, to take Ethan and Parkston kids to a track meet, but Ethan puts their teams together, Parkston puts their teams together, and let those kids go run and compete and jump and throw and do whatever they want to do. But while keeping the Ethan Parkston 9 through 12 program, well, let's just say varsity program. Let's not use grade levels, because some of your best track athletes for females are 7th graders, right? So at least put it on the varsity component. So only from the standpoint that even now, trying to press the issue, I don't feel comfortable with saying we did due diligence and getting all the information out there and giving people a chance to let it think about it, marinate it, give us feedback, say yay or say no. We really haven't done any of that. And I suppose you can say, well, what'd you do in the last 3 weeks that last time we met? It's just something that didn't really fit within the time frame and the schedule as to where things were at, and to be able to get it done on my part. So that's not an excuse, but it's my excuse and I'm using it. So moving forward, we have the opportunity to maybe have some deeper conversations about whether we should be doing this or not. Because what's in jeopardy is it's a 15-year program. I think that has had a lot of good things to it, and certainly as it's grown, it's causing a little bit of concern and some issues with maybe the numbers for sure, participation for sure. I think there's other components that Coach Shepherdson and I talked about as far as behind the scenes, the admin component of things, what's essentially in the cooperative agreement. I think there's utilization of resources, fees, equipment, all those kinds of components too that I think have to really have a deeper look and a deeper conversation in order to make a decision now as to whether it should dissolve or not. So I don't know that Coach Shepherdson walked out of there going, heck yeah, but I think he understood where I was coming from. And with that, I'll let Coach Shepherdson speak to any component if he wants to at that, about what we talked about, so.
I don't think I have anything to add.
Is that agreeable? Are you agreeable to that?
Yep. Yeah,
With
we
junior
talked-
high and,
Speak freely, Coach.
Yep.
Okay.
Just, when last time I was here, we just said there were benefits both ways, and so.
So I'm asking to pump the brakes a little bit. If you had to come out here with a motion, it would be to table the conversation, would be my suggestion, is to when we get back in school, then we can advance the conversation as to whether the dissolution should take place or not. I believe, I'm not gonna speak 100%, but if we ended up making a decision for dissolution, let's say October, November, that we still have the ability to tell the Activities Association in the spring of the year that these two schools would be independent schools in the Class B umbrella. I'll have to check with Dr. Swartos on that, but knowing what all the timelines are to create cooperations, I know the track one isn't due. If we wanted to create one, say we didn't have one, we would have until like January to create one in any given year. So I don't see the rationale as to why they would say, well, no, you can't. But I need to check for 100% of the time. They expect us to make that decision. I know the cross-country ship has sailed. Pretty sure.
So would would Ethan and Parkston junior high kids still practice together?
Yeah.
Nothing would change.
Nothing would change.
So it would still be the later time? Would they have the same coaches and like Ethan has these two coaches and Parkston has these two coaches, or how does that work?
Nothing would change.
Nothing changes at all?
Yep.
Nothing would change. We currently have 8 coaches, 3 are volunteers, and nothing would change.
So they'll let you just say that these are Ethan kids, these are Parkston kids, and you can use these kids as many times as you want. These
Who's
kids?
they?
Well, whoever you're,
Who's they?
like they don't let you put so many kids in an event, you said?
Like you're referring to, like when you go to the Wagner track. meet.
Yeah.
That's what we're exploring.
You would just pay 2 entry fees.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
It's
you'd pay an
different
entry
by
for the
each
Ethan
school.
Junior High, you pay an entry fee for
Okay.
the Parkston Junior High.
Yeah.
And maybe you have to have 2 different colored t-shirts.
And some meet lets you put 3 7th grade girls, some let you put 4, some let you
Mhm.
put 5, 6. So it just kind of depends on the track meet, how many you get. But yeah, nothing's set in stone with that. It's still exploring and
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out ways to keep more middle school kids.
And that's where that's the area that was the biggest problem, was the junior high.
It's in high school as well. It's just not as much
Sure.
in high school. At that point, they kind of know what they want to be. I know I want to be in these events where the junior highers are still kind of exploring and, I want to try this, I want to try this, I want to try this.
I can't remember, are the junior high coaches varsity coaches as well?
Yep. We're all the same coaching staff. We just kind of designate who does what entries.
Mm-hmm.
I do high school boys, Coach Stigman does high school girls, Coach Oakley did junior high girls, and Coach Schoenfelder junior high boys. Because that's the biggest time consuming aspect of coaching track, is trying to do all the entries.
So really though, it doesn't help the kids at practice? Because you still have the same amount of coaches with just as many kids when you said it's been really hard at practice to really even teach the kids anything, correct?
But nothing would change there. It'd still be the same.
Yeah.
You're not adding staffing.
No, I know.
In order
That's
to
why,
address
I'm just trying to like point out that it really won't change that aspect of it.
Yep.
But what it will do is open the door at a meet to allow the exploration by those middle school kids, instead of going collectively as one, where let's say Wagner says you can only have 3 kids in every event.
Sure.
That's all we're doing. Now, if Parkston goes as Parkston, Ethan goes as Ethan at the middle school level, then those 3 that would have been shunned or wouldn't have the opportunity because it just didn't fit, now potentially that's there. And the other component is it opens the door for, oftentimes you take kids, we're taking kids right now, they're not in 4 events, and you can usually put kids in 4 events. Now you have an opportunity, and we talk about the exploration. I wanted to try that. Well, God, there's just no room, buddy. I'm sorry, I can't get it to you this time, but maybe now that opportunity is for there to do the 4. And as Coach Shepard said, as they get older, the necessity of kids to do 4, if you look at me, I didn't look like a sprinter, but I spent most of my time throwing. I went to the track meet and did probably 2 events for a majority of my career, although I ran a little bit, but we have some of those kids, where they find their niche, right? If I'm a distance runner, I'm 1 mile and 2 mile, that's all I'm doing.
I think that's great,
so-
except for like when you're doing, events where you actually have to know how to do it to compete. And there's sometimes they're put in events that they don't even really know how to do it.
Yep.
That's the challenge, really, is it's still, that's not gonna change that. Cause you still have the same amount of coaches, same amount of kids.
Yep.
They'll just get to do it and not really have had any direction prior.
Yep. Sometimes. Yep.
Yeah.
That happens. I don't discredit that comment because, I coached track for 7 years and it did happen. You know, I can't imagine coaching 123 of them, but is there ever an opportunity for a coach to tell a kid that, nah, I'm not sure that's the best opportunity for you right now. Let's practice it. Let's take a look at it beforehand. I trust our coaches to say, no, you're not going to do that yet. You're not ready to do that yet, you know. But if the kid is adamant and got some athletic ability or whatever, I don't care, I don't try it, I'll just let me try it. And you do get some of those kids that are going out on a limb, they're like, full bore all on, just give it to me. You know, you're not gonna argue too strenuously with them if there's something they really wanna do. But I'd say the attempt at coaching, you know, that is a byproduct of having 125 kids out there. And
Yeah,
there's,
I'm not
you know,
taking away from your coaching.
no.
I'm just saying it's challenging having that many kids and
Absolutely.
the amount of coaches that you have. That's not
Yeah.
changing anything.
You're right,
so-
it would not solve that problem.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna table it for the next, later?
It was just a discussion item.
But do
Yeah,
we
for
wanna
now.
put it on the list to come back to it like later?
Oh,
I
That's
think
what
so.
I'm asking?
I think so.
Okay.
I think you need to,
Okay.
so.
Like October, or what do you wanna do, November? Do you wanna wait till the spring, or?
No, I mean, let me check back, you know.
Okay.
I can put it on there for no later than October. And have, you know, to see where Ethan's at, and see where they're at, so.
Okay, sounds good.
I would add just a little bit of history here, because I was on the board when we first got Ethan to come on.
Mhm.
We were lacking numbers. And so here it come full circle, and a credit to the coaches, to the kids of being out there. But we were needing kids. And so I think we gotta think about it here a little bit. Plus, you know, we always look at working together with different school districts. You know, that's one opportunity that's worked. And maybe that adds to some other things that can work together, because maybe at some point in time, we're gonna need help on other things.
Yeah, that would really be a challenge for them, I know that. Because they don't have a track and they don't have a lot of
Number
equipment.
3 is that if we do add on softball and baseball, girls and boys, that could take some kids.
And Coach Shepherdson and I talked about that too, about what if softball expands and baseball expands, you know, the implications that it has for the track program.
Right.
I mean, nobody knows, but it's certainly something that could have an impact, so. And then if you ended up dissolving that, maybe per se prematurely, doesn't mean you can't always circle back to it, but I don't know, my administrative mind tells me, keeps telling me, whoa. And I shared that with Coach Shepherdson, so.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. Okay, we'll move to action items. Action item A, let me go back to my sheet here. Designate committee appointments. School board members will be appointed to the following committees: ASBSD Delegate Assembly, Board of Equalization, Building and Grounds, Calendar, Personnel and Activities, and Curriculum and Bid Opening.
So Craig, if you.
I got the ones from last year,
Yeah,
yeah.
please.
You guys wanna know?
If you want to make any changes.
Yep, Jill, you were the delegate, and Jed was the alternate. Jill, you were on the calendar committee. John was the representative on the Board of Equalization. Matt was the representative of the James Valley Co-op Board. Scott and Matt were on the Building and Grounds. John on Bid Opening. Jill on Personnel and Activities Committee, and Jed was on the Curriculum Committee. You want to make any changes, or are those good?
That ASBSD Delegate Assembly, is that always November, like the
Yes.
weekend of state volleyball?
Yes.
I don't want to do that anymore. I like going to state volleyball. I don't want to do that. Somebody needs to take that from me. Give it to Jed. He liked it. He wanted it. He said. He's not here, so he gets it.
He was the alternate.
That's what happens when you're not here. Sorry. He was the alternate anyway. Or if somebody else wants it, that's fine. I do not
John,
want
you
it.
went this year, I believe,
I
did
did.
you not? Yes,
And-
just
and
because
if
both couldn't go.
Nobody can't.
Right.
Oh, then you wanted. Oh, okay.
So put it in, but then you'll be like,
An
should we just
alternate.
put you down as the alternate then?
Put me
Okay.
as a safety valve.
Okay, so we'll go, because Jill technically was on 1, 2, 3.
But Jed and John for that
And
delegate.
Jed
Yeah.
was only on 2. so
I like
yeah.
state volleyball and I want to go. Even if my daughter's not playing, I still like to
So
go to
we'll
it.
go Jed as the
Yeah.
delegate. And John as the alternate.
So your Board of Equalization then is, I think that was John.
Yes, yep.
You have a delegate, you have an alternate on that one?
No, there was never.
Okay.
Never was.
Building and Grounds, still Scott and Matt,
Yep.
correct? Personnel Activities, Jill
And then Jed on the curriculum.
and Jed on curriculum. And John with bid opening.
Yes, John was bid open, yep.
Perfect. Any
And Matt was on Jay's Value. You got that one?
JVAC?
Which I still don't know what it is.
That's our education, it's our sped co-op. In the event.
It's not very active.
Sounds like Matt likes that committee who never has to do anything. Maybe he would like that other committee.
That'll work.
All right, we good? Do we need a motion to approve anything
No,
or we're
it's
just
you.
good?
You appointed
Okay,
him.
all right, sounds
You told
good.
Jed what he was doing.
Told him. He's got a job now. All right, action item B is to set activity prices. The board will discuss rates to set for all activities that patrons are expected to pay to attend.
And we weren't recommending any changes, so the following activity prices were last year were 3 for students, 5 for adults for a single game, 4 and 6 for double headers, $50 for the adult activity passes, $30 for adults over 65, and then all parks and K through 12 students were allowed to attend all parks and events free of charge.
Yeah, I don't think we need any.
How'd that go over?
with all that.
Any complaints that you heard of, or?
I know we have a lot more kids in attendance at activities than we used to, so I think that's been positive. Yeah.
That was one.
So I just, I mean, unless you guys want to change something, we weren't proposing any changes there.
I don't think we need to change anything. If it's been
Okay.
going good, we'll keep
The
it.
other thing that you and I talked about, just to make maybe clarification on, so everybody and those, the family, the employees and their activities pass that they get, they do some work on that.
Oh, yeah, work for those, yeah.
So, yeah, and then it's all in their negotiated agreement,
Yep.
they do all
Yeah,
those
that's
things.
never been put in here.
One thing I wanted to bring up is maybe put a declaration in a statement in Craig's minutes is that, remember I'd brought to you, I don't remember it was this winter sometime.
Oh, yeah.
When the fire department was asking for, they're doing their fundraising, their donations, one of the considerations at the time is maybe a better way of doing that instead of just giving them money is to those who are involved in the EMS community, that those people all give them a pass to any parks and activities too. So I think you mentioned that was maybe your idea, man. Yeah. So is that something we can still explore, to show our appreciation for what they do, because we don't contribute financially, and like I said, they were here 3 times this spring with bells on, inadvertently, obviously, but they drop everything at the drop of a hat to get here, so. But if you're okay with that, we'll afford them. And I just told Craig we'll get a list from the EMS people down there, and then we'll make sure that we give them a complimentary pass. So, okay? Okay.
So I need a motion to approve those.
Yeah.
Approve with that change?
What's that?
Approve with that.
So what I'm gonna do is parks and students K through 12 and EMS responders will be allowed to attend. Does that sound all right?
Yep.
Is that the right terminology, EMS responders? So moved by Matt,
Second.
second by Nebel. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, action item C, set school lunch prices. The board will discuss setting new rates for the district school lunch program in order to comply with federal policy.
Yep, I filled out the application. Since we had a balance, we still do not have to raise the lunch prices. So, I mean, with our balance in there, was not proposing any increases, and we're also proposing to keep the breakfast for free for the students for this school year. Any discussion on any of that? I mean, so the prices for breakfast would be free, obviously, and then lunch would be milk's 40 cents, reduced price 40 cents, Preschool through 5th grade, $285, 6 through 12, $305, additional entree $1.25, and adults would be $5 instead of $4.85. So we don't have to mess with 15-cent change. Peg requested that. I mean, it just, we don't have 15-cent change, it ends
That's
up
fine,
turning
yeah.
into $5 anyway. So,
What was your adults, Craig?
$5.
Yeah, I think that, so everything's staying the same, essentially.
Because we tried it at 4, and 4 wasn't enough money because of the, not the PLE tool, but the non-program foods tool that I have to run, so it has to be
Yeah.
higher because of that. Because it can't be cheaper, and your federal funds can't supplement paying for your adult meals.
There's 3 options we can choose from. We choose middle because we have a fund balance, but we can hold it as where it is until that fund balance and we work through that whole process. But keep in mind, when it comes time to use the PLE model, that the tool that Craig is describing, the fact that we don't raise them when it comes time, and maybe it won't, maybe it'll never happen, I don't know, but you might.
As long as they keep the minimum of a dime,
Right.
or the maximum of a dime.
We don't know what that would be. I mean, people could get hit over the head. So, but I don't, you gotta take what you got right now, and I don't know the necessity is there because of what you got. So,
Do you know that the breakfast, has a participation in that been better?
Better, still not.
Not great?
Not like when we first started doing it, like back, didn't we do it right away where we gave, I can't remember, was it? It's not over 100 like
no.
it was at one. I mean, if it went up, it maybe doubled to from 25, 30 to maybe 50 to 60, 70 maybe a day. Not,
It really depends on what's for breakfast, honestly.
yeah.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays it's awesome because it's breakfast sandwich day. But Thursdays where it's cereal bar may not be as much.
Okay.
Okay.
So I need a
Everybody
motion to
good?
approve those prices.
So moved.
Oh, I'm sorry, the adult breakfast does have to, I think, stay at $2.60 because we can't give the adults free. So the free would just be for the students. Okay, so I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Kroll,
Second.
Turner, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, action item E, set driver's education fee, we recommend a $250. What?
Preschool?
Oh shit, that is that, oops, sorry. Set preschool fees. Yep, the board will discuss establishing the rate for preschool student tuition for those that attend the district's PK program.
I don't believe, Craig, we were going to.
We weren't gonna change that either because we just did that last year, I think up from 130 to 150. So it's 10 payments, 2 at $75 a month for the August and May because they're partial months, and then the other 8 at 150 for 9 total payments of 150, which I think comes out to $13.50 a year. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. Yeah, $13.50 a year. So, need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Moved by Nebo, second by Leichner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, set driver's education fee, we recommend a $250 fee with $150 per student for instructor pay.
160 is the per student actually for
Okay.
instructor. That's what it was last year. What it has been. I don't recall when the last time we did change this, but we
2
were-
years ago.
Was it just 2 years ago? Okay. Yeah, so I didn't think it'd been that long.
So we're good with, we're gonna keep it this way, you feel like? Okay,
Yeah.
just need a motion to approve then.
Is there anything else?
Moved by Prohl.
Acres to
Oh,
on it.
sorry.
He's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moved.
Moved by Leichner,
Second.
second by Prohl. Set driver's ed at $250, $160 for the instructor per student. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, F is to approve our home tuition rates. The board will set the tuition rates for out-of-district students that are placed in the Our Home Incorporated program.
That's the sheet that I had when you guys showed up here. So that little box in the middle, When you go through the math of those rates up, the codes up in the upper left, the 7,556, those amounts are all set by the state. And then we go through a calculation to come up with what's in that box in the bottom. And it's based on our general fund calculator, because we had to put the targeted certified instructional staff salary in there, along with the benefit percentage adjustment, along with the overhead cost adjustment, and all that comes out to level 1 rate of 89.61, 2 138.94, 3 174.95, level 4 146.25, level 5 253.40, and level 6 111.17. So I need a motion to set those.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Leishner, second by Depot. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, action item G is South Dakota High School Sports Association Board of Directors candidate ballot. The board will cast a vote in the runoff election for the West River at-large superintendent position on the Board of Control.
Just need an official. I believe last time you voted to get to this point, you voted for Mark Noggle, the superintendent out at Custer. And that came in, got the total membership or enough of the total membership, so Chris was in that component too, so it's either Chris or Mark. You voted for Mark first time, so.
Let's vote for him again.
Yeah.
Got a motion?
Yep.
Leishner, second by
Second.
Turner, to vote for Mark Nagel from Custer School District for the South Dakota High School Activity Association, West River at-large representative for superintendent. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carried.
All right, action item H is to declare weight equipment and MPR wooden bleachers as surplus with value. The board will declare the list of weight room, fitness, and wooden bleachers as surplus with value so as to be offered for sale at a price set by the board.
So we are going to propose that the table of the weight room equipment valuation component at this time. We have all the stuff, we just don't have the exact list accounted for, and the reason why we don't have the exact list, because the coaches aren't 100% sure what of the old materials or resources they would like to retain. And part of it is, well, we need to get in there, we need to use what's what. Well, I can tell you the first and foremost is that the conversation is centering around the plates, that we do not have enough plates within the new facility on each component. So I'll just give you a weight rack, a bar, a bench, and that goes with it. What we acquired in the new is 45, 45, 35, 35, 25, 20, on and on up. So if we have some kids that are throwing around bigger weights and stuff, they want to see what maybe they have to retain in the plate component before we can say offer for sale. Here's 5 of the rack weight components that we offer them. So we don't know if we're gonna have 5 for sale.
Full sets.
Full sets.
Yeah.
So
That's
we
what I'm
have,
concerned.
eventually, they have the list, but they want to see what they can pull back from that. So I think we're okay with, tabling the weight conversation, because Craig's concern is when this gets out, it's gonna be hot and heavy. And we're gonna sit here and say, well, I'm not sure I can really give you that. And we don't wanna do that. We wanna know what we have available. If it comes up with 3 full sets, here's 3 full sets, here's what's for sale.
So I've already had people contact me about
What
when
do you
it's gonna
sell?
be available.
And when
And
is,
what is it and how much.
Individuals or?
Yep. So, yeah.
Take time out.
but the wooden bleacher conversation, they're off the wall, they're removed, they're kinda in the way right now of getting the NPR cleaned up and painted and getting some holes filled and things like that. So we would certainly like to get rid of them so we can advertise them, declare them surplus with a value of some sort. There's 3 sections to it. One's 21, 2 of them are 21 feet, and I think one of them, Craig, was like 22 and a half foot, if I remember.
Yep.
Something like that. So
One
we
of the
have
same
3
one's a little
separate
bit bigger.
sections there that somebody could utilize in however format that they wanted. I believe we just pushed it out to your business manager's listserv, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Bruning, and nobody came beating down the door.
I got one response saying, hey, look for a local person that
Has a bull cell.
had both sales bought ours. And then I had one other one say, send me a picture of all the wood taken off it and piled up in the back of the pickup for the other one. So, I mean, and there was a pile of wood. I mean, they cut them up and stacked them up and could make stuff out of it if they wanted to, I guess.
The amount of wood that's on any one that you could salvage off of that, in my opinion, it's a finished board and it's essentially, it's a routed 1x6, if I remember, maybe even a 1x8.
I'd say 8 or 10.
1x8 routed. I mean, the wood in of itself on any one of those sections, you're probably pushing $500. So that's just a ballpark figure. Maybe you want to put a value on it, let alone somebody wants all the metal, the apparatus underneath of it. But it does have value.
Yeah.
I
So I need to know how
don't have an
much.
opinion about the wooden bleacher price. I would have no clue. I'm not running in the wooden bleacher area. So I don't know how much
You're
wooden
asking us for a
bleachers cost.
price?
Yeah.
Well, I have no idea.
What do you want to put
We're
on?
not all out just buying wooden bleachers every day. I'm not sure. Do you think 500 is good?
Well,
What do you think?
Yeah, that's the wood alone. That's not to mention
Oh,
the metal.
okay, what do you think?
I don't, I mean, a minimum of 500. My whole point is I think we need to move them.
Yeah.
You just want to get them out of here, so you want to get rid of them. Got it.
Because I can tell you, we have no place for them right
Mhm.
now, and they're off the wall.
Yep.
And I'm not putting them back up.
We weren't going to ask you to. Okay.
So that's the big thing, is you can set a price, but if nobody's willing to.
So you're saying 2,000 is too high? I know, I'm just joking. I don't know. Oh, do you think
You could-
500 you'd sell? Somebody take it?
Worth a shot.
Okay,
Per
that
section.
sounds good to
You
me.
put
yeah.
500 or best offer?
Yeah.
Per section?
Yeah.
Per section.
So 1,500.
Do we need a motion to approve?
Please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Nebel and second by Leisha, declare the NPR bleacher surplus with a value of $500 or best offer per section. Declare the 3 NPR bleacher sections.
I hope to have the weight conversation,
Do you want me to put something in this motion on that?
just that the weight component was tabled, moved up
Okay.
for further conversation.
I spent a lot of time on the
Table.
bleachers. I spent a lot of time on the
Declaring.
bleachers over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Butts in the seat, right?
Yeah.
You're looking for a 3-row momentum, or memento?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Put them out in the garage.
Where are you going to put, I said, so what would you do with them?
I saw a piece. And I just cut a chunk.
Don't
Okay.
offer it to Mike.
Who's second? I'm
Probably
sorry, I had Nebel. Is
Matt.
it Leisha?
Mike would find a
So
place in his
moved by
office.
Nebel, second by Leisha, to declare the 3 NPR bleacher section surplus with a value of $500 or best offer per section, and to table the declaring of weight equipment surplus to a later date. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, so we will take a short recess to clear the room for executive session. You need a time, Craig, or are you good?
8:34.